Lucy Goes to Oregon by the Kansas Historical Society. Lucy lived on a farm in Ohio. She and her brother and sister liked to feed the animals. Sometimes she had to help her mother look after them. Lucy's parents were proud of her. On the day before her 10th birthday, Lucy was watching her brother and sister. As they splashed in the stream that ran near the farmhouse, Lucy heard her mother crying. The year 1848 had been hard for Ohio farmers, and Lucy's father decided to move his family to a distant land where things were better. The family planned to travel in a covered wagon on the long and dusty Oregon Trail. Lucy's mother was sad to think about leaving their home. It took many months for Lucy's family to get ready for the move. Lucy's father worked on the farm wagon to make it strong enough for the long trip. He added a top to cover all of their belongings. Lucy's father bought all the things they would need. He sold the farm, bought seed to plant in Oregon, and bought 8 oxen to pull the wagon. The oxen would take turns pulling the heavy wagon. Lucy's mother sewed clothes and made food for the long trip. She also made a large supply of homemade butter. There would be no time to do this on the trail. Lucy helped her mother pack food for the trip. They would be far from general stores on the way to Oregon. The most difficult job was to decide what to leave behind. There wasn't much room in the wagon, and if they packed too much, the oxen wouldn't be able to pull the load. The family would be stranded. Lucy's parents decided to take Father's gun, the plow, the seed, and other supplies prepared for the trip. They also packed a heavy bed frame, which had been in Lucy's family for many years. They left behind most of their furniture and farm animals. It was very sad. But family and friends were the hardest things of all to leave behind. Lucy cried as she said goodbye to her grandmother. Lucy's family got to Independence, Missouri in late March. Many families had already arrived. They bought last-minute supplies and waited for their departure. Independence was called a jumping-off town because it was one of the places where people jumped off onto the Oregon Trail. The leader of the wagon train had made the trip before. He knew the importance of not leaving too early. He waited until the grass on the prairie was high enough for the animals to eat. For the first several days, the wagon train traveled through Kansas territory. Lucy thought the rolling hills were beautiful. Morning came very early on the trail. Lucy needed to get up early to help Mother cook breakfast before wagons started moving about 7 o'clock. River crossings could be very hard. At some of the larger rivers there were ferries, but the travelers were usually on their own. Every time Lucy's family made it safely across another river, Lucy breathed a sigh of relief. Lucy's father walked alongside the oxen, guiding them as he walked. Mother and the children usually walked too, so the oxen did not have to pull more weight. Lucy, her brother, and her sister sometimes played tag as they made their way to Oregon. One day, as they walked along, Lucy's mother realized she could not see her son. He had wandered off as the family and their wagon moved on. It was several hours before they found him alone in the woods. They all vowed to keep a closer eye on one another. Each night, the wagon train stopped at 6 o'clock. Mother made supper. Tonight, Lucy's family had beans, stewed apples, and fried bread. After supper, Lucy helped with the dishes and sometimes washed a few clothes with soap they had made before they left. In the evening, after chores were finished, the family relaxed around the campfire. Sometimes they sang songs. After 4 months of travel, they had crossed the plains and were in the mountains. The oxen were all tired. Their wagon was packed too full, and the oxen could no longer pull it. They had to leave some of their family treasures along the trail to lighten the load. At long last, they were in Oregon after 5 months on the trail. They had had good and bad times, but the important thing now was that they had arrived at their new home.